What's going on, my powerlifting people? In this video today, we're going to go over the latest news in the world of powerlifting, and we're going to get started right away with news that just dropped, which is that USA Powerlifting just announced their payouts, their prize money for the Raw Nationals coming up later this year. And that total prize pool, as you can see from their Instagram post, is going to be $68,000, which is going to be specifically for that Raw Full Power Open division. And actually, USAPL started giving out some money back in 2019 when they were still part of the IPF and they would still send national teams to World Championships. Is they started giving a little bonus to the top lifters on the various national teams where they repay them their team fee plus give them a $500 bonus. So since 2019, USAPL has been giving out some money to people at nationals or on national teams. This is separate from the Arnold prize money that they've been giving out for a while, and they've been building that up over the years. So in 2021 in Daytona, they announced that they were giving out some money for the best lifters, and I believe it was $25,000 in total. And so if you were a Raw Full Power Open lifter, you could win $2,500 for male or for female. So in total, that was like a $5,000 prize pool for that specific division. In 2022, they upped it for equipped, raw, bench, all put together into $68,000. And if you break that up into this one division we're looking at right now, that'll be $35,000. So we're going from now $5,000 up to $35,000. So a big jump in the prize pool. And then now, just like I said, it's $68,000 all for that one division. So now they're going up from $35,000 last year for that division up to $68,000 for that division. So almost doubling the prize pool. They are changing as well a little bit how the prize money is broken down, whereas last year they had prize money for not only winning your weight class, but then overall like best lifter or champion of champions prize money. Now they're taking out the weight class prizes and just having an overall best lifter or champion for each specific day that's going to win the prize money. So I'll put the link to that Instagram post down below in case you want to read into it some more. Next up on the Powerlifting America side, they have announced two of their nationals so far for next year. So they break up their various age divisions into different nationals. So you have a classic nationals, a high school nationals, a bench nationals, equipped nationals, so on and so forth. So the two that we have announced so far are the bench press nationals and the high school nationals. So for the bench press nationals next year, it's going to be in Austin, Texas at the Marriott South Austin, which is where the classic nationals have been the last 2 years. So if you went to that meet, then you know that bench press nationals is going to be in that same hotel, and it's going to be January 27th and 28th. In addition, just as an additional note for bench pressers, is the IPF Bench Press World Championships next year will also be in Austin, Texas. So if you want to qualify for the Bench Press World, it's going to be here in the US, here in Texas, and it's going to be in Austin, which is the same place that Bench Nationals is going to be. So you go to the Bench Nationals in Austin to qualify for the Bench Worlds in Austin if you are part of USA. And then the high school nationals are going to be in Kenner, Louisiana at the Hilton New Orleans Airport Hotel, and they're going to be April 19th through April 21st. And again, I'll have the link to the website down below so you can check out more information about those two nationals, and hopefully soon we'll get the other nationals announced. And some more news recently, obviously not as positive, is that as always, we have some people that failed their drug tests, both in USAPL and the IPF. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you see I sometimes post it on my stories what the latest updates are on the failures. If you're not following me on Instagram, again, be sure you follow me, a link down below so you can get that latest information. But some of the latest failures that I mentioned, one is Chandler Babb, who failed for a stimulant. So if you follow her on Instagram, you'll see she made a whole post explaining about her pre-workout and how she looked into it and everything that she tried to do to avoid a failure. But she did end up failing for a stimulant that was probably in the pre-workout that she was taking and trying to research. And so she is suspended 19 months for that. So again, this just goes back to the importance of making sure you know what you're taking and trying to avoid as many supplements as possible, because they are very unregulated, especially here in the US, and they can have ingredients that are not listed on there. They could have ingredients under different names that can have ingredients that are going to cause failures. And so you have to protect yourself. The best thing you can do to protect yourself is not take anything. Second best thing is to take things that are third-party tested that you know will pass a lot of tests. And I have more information on that. I'll put a link down below to a YouTube video I've done before really breaking down supplements. The other suspension was on the CPU side. It didn't make it to the IPF, was Maria T. And it wasn't a failure of a drug test. There are other ways that you can be suspended as a lifter, a coach, a referee, whatever. And in this case, it was a whereabouts failure. So when you get out of meet tested, you have to be where you're supposed to be when you list there as your 60-minute window that I will be in this location during this 60-minute this day and be present for drug testing. In addition, you have to submit the updated form every quarter and update it throughout that quarter if anything changes for you as far as where you're living, where you're going to work, your 60-minute window, so on and so forth. If you have 3 strikes in a rolling 12-month period where either you're not submitting your form on time or you're not where you said you were going to be for your drug test, then that's going to lead to a suspension, because it's going to appear like you're trying to circumvent the drug testing by either not providing information for them to be able to come and out of meet test you, or not being at the location so that they can't out of meet test you. So in the case of Maria T, I believe she had one strike where she didn't fill out the form, and 2 strikes where she wasn't where she said she was going to be, and that 3 strikes in a 12-month period led to a suspension. So again, as an athlete, not only is it important to know what you're taking as far as supplement to make sure you're not failing a test, but it's also important to follow the rules of your federation, not only your national federation, but also the international federation, as far as what you need to submit, submitting it by the proper deadline, updating it whenever you're traveling, those kind of things, and then also being where you say you're going to be. So if you put your 60-minute window down as home at a certain time, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or whatever, then you have to be there, because that is the time that you're guaranteeing those anti-doping officials that you're going to be there and they can come test you. They can come test you at any other location at a time, whether it's the gym, work, home or something like that, but you don't have to be there at that time as far as being required and getting a strike. It's only for that 60-minute window, so you have to be really certain that you're keeping your forms updated and you are where you say you're going to be, so that you're not running into an issue like this. And of course, there was other failures recently for anabolic steroids, growth hormones, peptides, those kind of things. So I'll put the link down to the suspension list below so you can take a look at it. One of them was a lifter from South Africa, Johan Smith, who has failed before, and this is a second failure. So you can see that is a 7-year suspension. So again, just being mindful of what you're taking. Don't cheat, because they are going to come and test you in competition, out of competition. And if you do fail more than once, you're going to get longer suspensions, like in this case with Johan Smith, where now he's dealing with a 7-year suspension. And the next news item, if you've been following the lifting world, you would probably know about the lifter who I believe was in Bali, who failed a squat and end up dying from it. And the video is out there if you've seen it. I went and watched it just to see what's going on. I'm obviously not going to share the video here or anything like that, but if you want to go look at it, you can go look on your own. It was basically an issue where the lifter failed to lift. They weren't dumping it properly. Their spotter did not spot it properly, and the bar ended up causing damage enough to have them die later on at the hospital. So again, I'm not going to show the video here, and I'm not going to spend time here explaining everything on how to properly spot or how to properly dump a bar, everything. But my plan is for now is to put out videos on this YouTube channel going forward of how to properly spot. So we'll break it down into each of the lifts, and then for each of the lifts, break it down how you can set yourself up for success based on what equipment you have access to and how many spotters you have access to. So be sure to subscribe so you can see those videos where I really break it down to make sure you're putting yourself in a position where you're safe in order to try out heavy lifts and not have something like this happen to you. And that's all the latest news I have for you all. If this was helpful, please give it a like to help me out. Again, all information is down in the description below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.